let him ask.
Thanks so much, and thank you all for doing this. I'm interested, obviously, if there's like Republicans are capitalizing on voter distrust in the federal government, is there a role Democrats should have in maybe countering that distrust and looking at 26 and 28 outside of popular programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's our job to make the American people understand that these cuts to government and these attacks on government are an attack on them and programs that help them a lot. And so if we have a role, even if it's just one role, it's by connecting the actions of the administration to the harm they are doing to the American people and not letting them blame Democrats or DEI or something else. So we look at the example of what happened at DCA, for instance, and the first thing the president did was blame DEI, right? Even though he had just fired a bunch of people at the FAA a couple weeks before. And so we have a responsibility to make that connection. And on the previous question, I want to say that I've talked to AAPI voters that voted for Trump that did not realize he was going to be cutting federal services in the federal government the way that he has and the way that he's empowered Doge, and they regret their vote already. I think they thought he was going to do a lot on the economy and immigration, and so far what he's done is the opposite of helping the economy.
And I would just add, so to the previous question, at the 30,000 foot level in presidential, obviously messaging was an issue, but if we drill down, we actually picked up a seat in the House, and individual members, folks like Derek Tran, working their community, talking to their community. So we've got to, and we're taking time during this retreat to figure out what that, what was the difference between what we were doing on the ground in our communities, where we have trust in those House races versus what is our brand at the national level, and what does that look like, and how do we get that out there? And then on the question of cuts to the federal government, yeah, the federal government's an easy scapegoat at times, but most Americans don't actually realize how much they rely on, what's happening in their schools, what's happening in their health care. A lot of folks have Medicaid, but they don't actually know it's because it's not called Medicaid. It's called Millennial Health Care. It's called something else. They're going to have a rude awakening if they take that away. And again, we have to make sure who did this and get that message out both in our districts, but then also have a national brand message. So again, the public knows those services that they were getting actually were coming through their tax dollars and so forth. So it is going to have a real impact on the American people in their everyday lives.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.